Corporate governance gives direction and control to companies, how institutions should be managed, recommends appropriate structures. It's a discipline that came up when very huge companies in the world, in America, started collapsing due to poor management and fraud. It also spells out the rights and obligations that are distributed among the different participants in the institution and helps in the procedures and making decisions. I give two examples in these two photographs of poor corporate governance. The first one, which is that side, these are a group of people who are supposed to be discussing issues. And they say apparently many companies experience problems including a lack of direction, poor lack of respect among members, pushing personal agendas and poor communication. And how do we see this? This is a meeting that is taking place, but if you zoomed into the photograph, you will see one person is on phone, another one has actually turned his back, so he's not paying attention. Two of them are in a heated argument. One is reading and is saying, "It's not my fault." And the other one is saying, "Why must I be the chair?" And this is supposed to be, presumably, maybe a board meeting. On the other side, you have another group of people who are saying accountability is the blame game. And they don't worry if you don't know the rules. We are making it up as we go along. So another group of board members with no real direction. The principles which we've heard about, but just to remind ourselves: openness, honesty, accountability, transparency, fairness, ethical conduct, corporate social responsibility, just to name a few. And in the companies, we normally have stakeholders, and we have those with an active role at the top, the board, and we have those with a commercial role, those at the bottom, the employees, the customers, the creditors. And then we have the passive role, the society, the tax authorities. So to enhance corporate governance, we institute governance structures, we establish board of directors, we ensure that they sustain reporting, mechanisms for financial accountability, and mechanisms for communication and regular feedback. Now it's common for sometimes for institutions to concentrate on one and forget the other, but it's important to have them together. How we measure: we have the codes of governance, which are in the rules and regulations, the regulatory framework, and then the independent audits, which are both internal and external. And in our case, this is something that we've practiced for a very long time, having a very strong internal audit directorate, and also having that reports to the board, and having the external audits that are done. And currently, this is our board of directors who are drawn from different disciplines, representing the major stakeholders, and also having our managing director on the board, and the corporation secretary, who is also the national water staff. Here we have the chairman of our board, who is called Engineer Chris Ebal, who works with the judiciary. And then we have others who are drawn from different parts. And for the ladies, you can see that we balance the gender as well. Our board operates through committees. So we have board operating effectively through committees. Recently, we were in Bangladesh carrying out external services for Dhaka City, which has a population of about 14 million. And the water company there has a board, but the board has no committee. And the managing director said when he has a problem, he constitutes a team. And of course, you can see some of the challenges in doing that. In some of the committees, the audit committee being very important, we have the technical committees, we also have the administrative committee that looks at the recruitments. The reporting mechanisms within the ministry, or the structure that we have the Ministry of Water and Environment, and below that there are 3 directorates: water resources, water development, and environmental affairs. And below that there are different departments. This group of the ministry has the Water Policy Committee that steers the activities. We also have the agencies that are independent, and these are the National Forestry Authority, National Water and Sewage Corporation, National Environment Management Authority. And these have their own separate, like for national water, our own act under the Water Act that governs our operations. So what is important is that the reporting mechanisms must be clearly outlined within the sector, very clear and able to be, you're able to define the accountability and look at the differences between the roles and obligations. Under National Water and Sewage Corporation, we have the Board of Directors appointed by the Minister. We have the Managing Director appointed by the Board of Directors. And below that, we have our Deputy Managing Directors who oversee business streams, financial and corporate strategy, corporate services, that has the commercial wing and the finance wing. The Corporation Secretary, who below that has the legal affairs and the human resource. The Technical Services business stream that has engineering, planning and capital development, Kampala Metropolitan, and we pull Kampala out as unique. Kampala City and its environs supplies and contributes to over 70% of the business in national water, and so it's pulled out and elevated at that level. We have the Directorate for Business and Scientific Services, and then internal audit that reports to the board. And as I said, the reporting structure must be clear, and this is what it is. Financial accountability is important, and most of you are from the finance side. So the financial statements audited by professional audit firms, and through this, the board is able to direct. Our communication and feedback, we have different mixture of different things we are doing. We have the annual reports that come out in time. Again, I'll share with you the experience from Bangladesh, where one company is just about to finish its audited report for 2012-13, and they're not talking about the current. Published audited reports, use of mass media and social media to keep stakeholders updated, and that was shown in the video that you saw, where we, through all the available social media avenues, are able to let all our stakeholders know what's happening. We have barazas where people go out and speak with the interface with the customers and with the stakeholder at different avenues. Sometimes we call them here, and that we do at least twice a year. But we also go out throughout the country and have these open-air barazas with the customers. Updates on the website, the policy briefs that go through the ministry to cabinet and to other places, talk shows, which are very, very important because you know people use that as a very big tool, which is done through radio, through TV, and common in Uganda. We have so many radio stations, so people are always tuned in. Sensitization in churches, mosques, and markets, and this is something that we started recently. I remember sharing with the MD that when people go to church, go to the mosque, that's the 1 hour in the week that someone is not thinking about other things. So they are seated there, listening, concentrating, worshipping, and that's when we catch them to tell them about water. In the market, when people are going to buy food, we're able to spread and sensitize them. Our vision is to be the leading customer-centered water utility in the world. Customer-centered is something that we brought in recently because we thought that that really is the vision. At the end of the day, we are here to serve. And we do that sustainably, ensuring that we produce water cost-effectively, water and sewage services, to the delight of the customers while conserving the environment. And our dream is that at the end of the day, all over the country, these little children should be able to go up to the tap and drink the water. We've implemented a lot of things over the last few years, and some have been highlighted in the video, the community clubs, school water and sanitation clubs. We cannot push water and sanitation issues if we don't bring the children on board right from the start. Customer outreach, the structuring of our staff, and the different programs to improve performance, infrastructure, services delivery, the expansions that we have done, bringing up our services expansion from only 80 kilometers per year, just a year and a half ago, to 1,400 kilometers that we are doing now. Attempts to and efforts to reduce this non-revenue water. You can see we arrest people, we have a police unit. We are able to find people, wrongdoers, and catch them, and they are able to pay. The capital investments, we can't underscore this, and of course for South Sudan we've seen a lot of that was happening in the towns as we went through working there. One thing that has come up now and we can't shy away from, even in Africa, even for the young country of South Sudan, ICT development. And if you do not get abreast, you'll be left behind. We have recently designed our own in-house billing system that has reduced our costs of expenditure on that. E-payment, where people can pay just with their phone and don't have to go to a cash point. The mobile applications, the social media use, and that has helped enhance our performance. Staff productivity, we don't underscore the need to train staff, and we are continuously reorganizing ourselves and seeing how best to get our staff trained. Right here where you are sitting is our training facility, the International Resource Center, and also throughout the country we embark on rigorous training at all levels, and recently have established a vocational school in Kaggwa, and are planning right now, the other one in Kaggwa is non-residential, we are planning a residential one in Lila. Enhanced services to the poor. This is very important to make water available to the poor because they can't pay on a monthly basis. So we have pay as you go through the prepaid meters, and they are able to buy their water and get away with it. Actually, you will find that the poor hardly steal the water. It is the rich people who are trying to dodge payment. We operate through performance-based contracts, and this is our flagship that has propelled us from where we were in the late 90s to where we are now, where every staff is on contract, where performance is evaluated, and for the business units, they have contracts with management, and National Water also has a contract with the Ministry of Water. You can't succeed without a strong monitoring and evaluation framework. This is very important because you need to be on top of the game. If you're going to monitor or regulate or even do self-regulation and see where you are, it's very important to have a strong monitoring and evaluation framework and be able to track your improvements and also see where your challenges are. Then the regular update of policy and procedures that is done regularly, and these are developed and taken to the board for review and approval. Our performance currently, just spelling out over the tranches from 98 to 2011 to 2015, we have seen what we used to think was impossible, made possible, make the national really national by moving from 12 to 24 to 110 towns now. Improving our water production, the amount of water we are selling, the service coverage, the new connections moving from 3,000 to 33,000 per year. Our total connections now stand at 417,000. The non-revenue water is at 31, still above 30, mainly because of Kampala, but we have embarked, as you can see, on very rigorous programs, both investment and also dealing with the commercial losses. Our staff per 1,000 connections, meaning number of staff per every 1,000 connections, is at 6, which is best practice. We try to collect all the money that we bill, plus more, recovering our areas. And as highlighted in the video, government has actually paid up its debts. Water quality, ensure that the water is safe, and then continue to expand. So that's just a brief highlight of what the corporate governance that we are practicing in National Water is all about. I end with 4 photographs. One, if you stay with us, you will enjoy this place by night. But also this is a center that brings numerous countries here to us, and we are able to do training through this facility.